my name's Lee and welcome to my channel Cola Flipper. I'm a UK eBay reseller. I buy second-hand items at car boot sales and charity shops and I resell them on eBay for a profit. Thanks for coming back. This is the second episode of Become a Better Reseller. This series was basically aimed at showing people how I learn to become more of an expert or more well versed in any particular category when I'm looking to source at a car boot sale. I think that basically my concerns were that I needed to expand my knowledge so that I missed out on fewer BOLOs and fantastic items at car boot sales. And the problem was the only way of doing that was just by chance seeing what other resellers had bought and sold when they show their hauls or their sales videos, and that's very potluck and doesn't really help me focus and learn on any particular sort of specialist area. So I use this particular technique, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my phone out, I'm going to do some searches and I'll pop it up on screen so you can see exactly what I'm looking at, and it's basically how I expand my knowledge in any particular area. Because I want to not basically miss out on fantastic items, and I'm pretty sure whenever I go to a car boot sale there are areas where I just don't know enough about a particular subject to know whether either an item is a BOLO, or sometimes it might be an item which it might be priced quite high. It might be a single item which is 20-30 quid, and I think, oh, that's a bit high, and I leave it. But it could be that might be worth £120 and it's an absolute steal. So it's about broadening my horizons and seeing what other areas I can learn about, and hopefully you'll come back and watch this series week after week and we can learn together. But as well as that, learning what we're learning together, you can think, right, I'm going to use that technique because I want to learn about another specific subject that I've not covered. So I've had quite a few people come back to me with ideas on what we can look at. So over the following weeks we're going to be looking at silver, war memorabilia and militaria, fishing reels, mid-century ceramics and pottery, women's footwear, studio pottery, watches, women's boots, men's dress shoes, Pokemon, vintage hi-fi, golf clubs, Wii games, lawn bowls, glass paperweights, etc, etc. So that's just a list I've got at the moment. So if there's something that you want to learn more about that isn't actually covered in that list, pop the category you want to learn more about in the comments, and at some point we'll get through this list, but hopefully we can all learn together. But if you can't wait for that, by all means use this technique that we're going to use to learn about any category that you want to. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm getting maximum bang for my buck with my sales. So I try to source items that will make me £20 after fees. So basically I'm trying to look for items that I can buy for somewhere under a tenner, but I should be able to sell for £35, and that should net me about 20 quid profit or thereabouts. And it allows me to then have wiggle room with, if it's a little bit cheaper, I know I can lower my expectations on what I should get, or if it's an item which is worth a lot more as a final sale price, it means I can afford to justify paying a higher price for that item in the first place. Hence why I was talking about having an item where you might think, oh, that's 20 quid or that's 30 quid or that's £50, and shying away from it, when all of a sudden you shied away from something which could be worth literally hundreds. So today we're going to be looking at glass paperweights. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you exactly how I search for these on eBay, and so I'll get a little screen share done, and we shall have a look and see what's what. Okay, so going into my eBay app, and we're just going to search, and we're going to look at paperweights. Now it's come up straight away with paperweights under glass or paperweights under militaria, and I'm just going to search paperweight, and then I'm going to go into my filters. I'm going to look for sold items, and then we're going to look at condition used, and it's got over 10,000 results, so there's quite a lot of sold items there. And this, you can do this in Terapeak within the eBay main website, and you can go into a lot more depth, but it's, if you want to do something quick and dirty, you can do it this way. So within that, I don't want to see any old paperweight. I want to see paperweights that are going to make me 20 odd pounds profit. So let's say over 30 quid. I would normally say 35, but let's say anything that sells for over 30 pounds. And I'm going to do it in a couple of different price categories, because what I want to do is see, okay, what items sell between, say, 30 and 70 pounds, what items sell between 70 and 150, and what sell for over 150. So if I see something that I specifically know sells for over 100 quid and they're asking 30 quid, I know I can take the punt on it. So let's say 30 to 75 pounds, and then so that brings it down to 1,100 results. And I'm going to sort it into ended recently, so not by highest to lowest. You can do that, and that will give you an idea of what brands or what things to look out for at certain ranges within. But initially I'm just going to look at what's sold recently, because that will show me what's hot now, and it will help me. Some of these are going to be unknown or no maker's mark, that sort of thing, so it'll be more of the style that is important to look for, and then other ones that are going to have a maker's mark of some kind, then I know to look out for that specific mark, or etc. So Hafford Grange dandelion, so that's something I've not seen before, so let's go and have a look at that. £32.99, 1970s, and it's essentially just a paperweight with a fluffy dandelion in the middle of it, but underneath it's got what looks like a little moulding of a flower. So perhaps that's the maker's mark, which now I know I need to have a look at Hafford Grange, and you can learn more about it. And this is how I do it. So so it's got a pewter base mark, so I now know that Hafford Grange have a pewter base mark in it, and that will help me identify something. So if I see one out in the field at a car boot seller, at a charity shop, and it's got a little pewter mark on the bottom, that's going to help me remember that particular brand and know that I'm potentially going to be able to sell something for over 30 quid. Doesn't mean everything by that particular brand will go for over 30 quid, but it's this shows you how you can then, you know, dig deeper. So for example, when I'm doing this for myself on any particular subject, I'll now make a note of Hafford Grange, I'll put pewter mark, and then later on I'll just specifically search Hafford Grange ones and then see, you know, do some. You might find that a lot of them actually sell for under 30 quid, but you might find that certain types and certain styles might sell for over 100. So this is just how I do it. I'm not going to deep dive on every single one, but it just gives you an idea of how to, how my thought process is for how I want to learn about a specific subject. So 32 plus postage, or £33 plus postage. Got an American one here. I don't know, maybe I should just filter for the UK. So I'm going to just filter for items UK only. Okay, we've got one for a Glasgow exhibition. It went on an offer, so it actually went for under £30, but it might suggest that people want to get paperweights which remind them of a certain thing, so an exhibition might be collectible. There's a Perthshire one here, and that has gone for £70. Now this is a Millefiori style, which I believe means all those little tiny flowers that look like cut bits of like a bit of Brighton rock, and that's come in a presentation case. You can see the details. It's very, very detailed. I can't see any maker's mark or anything on the bottom, but it does say signed. So what are you looking for on the bottom? Because I don't see anything on the bottom, but it might be just because it's not a particularly clear photo. So let's have a look. This has got a white lattice latticino ground and 12 colourful complex millefiori canes. Okay, so again, it's learning about the nomenclature, the way you the wording that you use around specific subjects, and again that helps you deep dive into something. In the centre there's a tiny P 1971 cane, so I'm assuming that is how you then date it. Oh, and the P must be for Perthshire, so that now means that I now think I need to write down Perthshire and start looking at Perthshire paperweights. And then again, you can see, are there ones that are worth 30 quid? Are there ones worth 70? Are there ones worth 100? How do I see that? What detail am I looking for to identify that when I'm out in a car boot sale at 6 in the morning in the dark? So that is interesting. So Perthshire is going on my list. Now I want to see if I can find this cane with the P on it, which I can't at the minute. So I'm still not 100% sure what I'm looking for, but it goes on my list of things I need to dig into and look at more. So 70 quid, if someone's selling that at a car boot sale for 30 quid, that could be worth a punt. But is it just a one-off that these go for £70, or are they regularly selling for 30 quid? So after you do a deep dive looking at the last 100 or so items, then do a deep dive on the ones which you think are more interesting to you, or where you think you want to increase your knowledge. So Perthshire is now on my list of things to learn about. Caithness. Now I've heard of Caithness, and this one kind of looks like coral in there, I guess. It's got a flat top and bottom, but what's good on here, this is a numbered one. So this is number 142 out of 500 made, and it's called Texas Treasures, and that's made in Scotland. So now I'm going to look for Caithness, can't even say it, Caithness, and it might be that there are standard Caithness ones which sell for £20, and it might be the numbered ones are the ones that go over 30, 40, £50. So again, this is another thing for me to look into and learn about. So nice deep colours on that one, flat top and bottom, but it's a numbered one, so I now know I need to do a little bit of digging, and that went for over £30 plus postage. Job lot, don't care about, I'm not interested in that. Tiffany's one, so obviously we all know that Tiffany's is a very high-end jewellers. Never even thought that they might make paperweights. Single picture, not a very good picture, and that went for 5 bids, just under £32 plus postage, so that is interesting. Antique end of the day dump paperweight, green bubble. That doesn't mean anything to me, and it is just a blob of glass. It's fairly scratched up with bubbles in it. I don't see, it's cracked on the bottom. It doesn't look in particularly good shape, yet that still went for 35 quid. It says antique, but there's nothing there that helps me understand why that would go for that sort of price. So if I see a pattern of a lot of those selling, then that's something for me to investigate. If I just see the one off at £35 and I don't see any more, then it may not be an avenue that I want to risk going down, because at 35 quid that could be something that's sat there for 2 years. What else have we got here? So we've got another pack of 3 which I'm not interested in. Got another Perthshire one. Okay, so within 6 items we've seen 2 Perthshire ones. And again, this one gives it a label of, this is a PP62, which suggests that, and the other one had a P number name, so maybe that's within the millefiori, is that how you say? Millefiori. That's how you then identify them, that we need to look closely at the little patterns to see that P number. So let's have a look at this one. So this is lots of little stars and twists. You can see there it's about 3 inches across. And this one is labelled on the bottom, Perthshire Paperweights, and it's got that same pattern that we saw on the box for the previous one. But that's a sticker, so you can imagine that sometimes the stickers are going to come off. So if it hasn't got the sticker, and maybe it's that P that we need to see, and that's exactly what you've got here. So right in the center of the center star, there's a little P. So now I know if I see any paperweights with a tiny little P logo in it, then it's going to be Perthshire. So it may be that there are numbers within there, but I'm not going to dig through and have a look. But that went for £40, and that went on bids again. Okay, so it's got the size details, it's got the weight in there, gives us a bit of history. So they've gone quite heavy on detail on the actual listing. It's got the central P signature. So there's a lot of detail there. So the person who has sold this has got a good price because they've described it well and taken good photos. But that's good to know. So let's see what else is there. Boxed Selkirk Spindrift. I know nothing about it. £37, worth having a look at. So Selkirk glass. And there's a spiral with bubbles on it, and underneath it is signed again, so it's got it engraved in the bottom. Selkirk glass. There is also a logo. It names it, and it's even got a date on there, so that should be something that's quite easy to identify out in the field, because you know that it's going to be inscribed on the bottom. So that's good to see. And you can see there's two of these Selkirk Spindrifts have sold, both for around the 30. So one went for £37.50 with free postage, one went for £35 plus £4 postage. So again, now I know if I see Selkirk anywhere, I know I'd be happy to pay up to £10 because I should be able to get £35 for that. So that's now locked away. More Selkirk, more Perthshire. Vintage Costa Boda glass frog. That's something different. And that's signed, limited edition, Paul Hoff. Never heard of him. Let's have a look at that. So you've got a little glass frog, and again it's engraved on the bottom, which should help you identify it out in the field. And it says on there Costa Sweden, so I now know that Costa is a Swedish glass maker, and that's even got a date in 1978. So again, that's now something that I can jot down and then investigate. Boda glass or Costa Boda glass. So that's something else to look at. And that went for 16 bids, so you had quite a few people fighting over that. So perhaps that's an area that there's a collector's market for that particular brand. So more Perthshire. What else have we got in here? I'm not going to go through all of these. More Tiffany's, Perthshire, Perthshire, Perthshire. So we know now that Perthshire is interesting and is worth investigating further. So that gives you an idea of that price range. I've only scratched the surface there, but you could go and spend 20-25 minutes scrolling through, giving yourself an idea of what sells at that level. Now I'm interested in what sells for a little bit more. So at the minute we had that at £30 to £75. Let's knock it up a little bit. So let's look at £75 to £150. Is it going to be the same brands? If it is the same brands, what makes it different? Why is one, say for example a Perthshire one worth £100 and one only worth 30? And this is how I learn about any particular subject I want to expand my knowledge on. So let's have a look. So 179 results for that. So let's see. Rare Perthshire paperweight, another Millefiori, 1986, bouquet faceted. Don't know what any of that means. 9 bids, just under 90 quid. So let's have a look. So we've got ground faces on the top and the sides to get undistorted viewing. And this one's got very, very highly detailed flowers in it, surrounded by the Millefiori. Do I see any with the P on it anywhere? I don't, but that isn't a particular close-up. Nothing that stands out there to show me that, but immediately you can see the detail on it. It's about sometimes learning how to spot quality. To me, that looks high quality because of the sheer amount of detail and therefore workmanship that's gone into it, which suggests then to me that it should be a higher price. Again, there's so much detail in the little flowers. but I don't see anything with Persia on it. So is there, and underneath it's got the sticker on it. So it's got the Persia Paperweights, and there's a little blob which looks like it's got a date on there. So that's interesting. So rare limited edition, it's 1986, which looks like what those numbers were jumbled up. 1986, don't know what the B means. Original edition was for 300, but only 210 were made. Well, I don't know how anyone knows that sort of stuff, but that's how you begin to learn about these. You find something, you find, is it interesting, you dig into it, and you expand your knowledge. So that is interesting. Original Persia sticker, and bought in Sydney when perfect, for 480 Australian dollars 30 years ago. I need to learn more about Persia, because if that's what they cost new, I now know that I need to look into these in a bit more detail. So definitely one to stick on my BOLO list, as not just on a BOLO list, my research list. I need to get a cup of coffee, 20 minutes on a Saturday morning, and I'll just dig through it and I'll learn about them. And that's what you can do here. So after this video is done, go and spend 20 minutes, have a little dig, deep dive into a brand and see what else is going on there. So 2 Persia ones, 87.99. What order have I got these in? So I've got these ended recently. We've got another one, Persia Paperweight, £87, 14 bids, and that one has got a little pheasant in the middle. Again, incredible detail on that. And that is what we're looking for, learning what to see. And again, on this one, you've got the little spot on the bottom with the dates on there. So that one, you can't actually turn it on the phone, but it's looks like 1984p. So the P's for Persia, and then the date of the numbers around it. And that has got another original price sticker on it. So that looks like that was, I think that might be $540 originally. I don't know whether that's US or Australian. So again, excellent early Persia paperweight, blah blah blah. There are 3 small bruises. Don't know how you bruise glass, but I'm assuming that is a flaw that obviously you need to learn to describe to make sure you get your best money. But that, even with bruises, whatever that means, it still went for nearly 90 quid. Dating Pecan on the base, otherwise perfect with no scratches or chips, and that's another 2.5-inch size one, so not even that big. So yeah, Persia is something I need to dig into. 14 bids, interesting. Paul, I don't know how you pronounce this, Yusart or Sart, £150, well 145, but an offer was taken. Now we don't know what that went for, but if you've got Terapeak, if you've got a shop, if you subscribe to a shop in eBay, you can use Terapeak to see what they actually sold for. So let's have a look at this. There's nothing here that really stands out to me to show why this is a fancy. Taking pictures with the ruler. I can't see any marks on the pontoon at the bottom, and I don't know why that stands out. But again, if that went for around the £145 mark, it could have gone for 100, it could have gone for a lot less, but it makes me think that's something that I now need to look at. So I'll then jot that name down, Paul Yusart, so I can then look for how you just then afterwards go into Google and look for Paul Yusart identifiers. So how do I learn to spot that out at a car boot sale? Again, if someone's selling that for 50 quid and I know I can sell it for 120, £50 is a steal. Yes, it might mean you've invested more money, but then your percentage return isn't going to be huge, but your actual cash money return could be huge. Another Isart one went for 100. A fine William Manson faceted floral glass paperweight offer, so 90 quid it was up for, and it sold at an offer. We don't know what that offer was, but you can find out if you've got Terapeak. I don't see any identifiers on there, but again, now I know that William Manson is another one that I need to learn a bit more about. Vintage Scottish John Deacon's Dragonfly, Whitefriars, I've heard of Whitefriars. I know that I've bought some Whitefriars glass before. Another Whitefriars one, William Manson again. So we're seeing different names to what we saw earlier in that other category. So now it's about building up that mental picture of what you're willing to pay at a lower level to what you're willing to pay for something that could make you a much higher return. Caithness, different one. That's quite cool. That is very different to the other Caithness ones. Got a flat top again. Looks kind of like a flower in there. Caithness glass called the Golden Rose, handcrafted, edition size 75. Only 75 of those made, and this is number 16. Has that got an original price on it? Just trying to see. It's out of focus, so I can't see an original price on that. But I'm sure that's something that I could investigate and find out more about. But if I saw that at a car boot sale now, knowing that it goes for over 100 odd quid, that's worth me paying up for, basically. More Caithness, McD Glass Studio. More Caithness and William Manson, Whitefriars, Latticino. So again, that there's a couple of Murano ones, so that gives us an idea here. So again, feel free, dig in. I'm going to dig deep on these afterwards. I'm not going to bore you going through all of them, but I'm just going to now have a quick look what goes for 150 to say 300 pounds, just to see if there's something out there. The odds of me finding this, stumbling upon it, are low. But if I do, and someone else who's a reseller who hasn't bothered to spend the time researching and learning about these things, they might pick it up before me and think, oh, 30 quid, that sounds like a lot of money, put it down. But if I know that's worth over £100, £200, £300, then it puts me in that position where I've put myself in a position where I am more likely to make a good buy than somebody else, because I've put the time in. I'm not saying sit here all day doing this to learn. When you're having a coffee break for 20 minutes or whatever, or on your lunch break, go and do 20 minutes research on any subject you like. I will be going through all these ones that I discussed earlier, but hopefully it just gives you a good idea of how I do this. So let's have a look at the next one. So let's go up to £300, and I think we'll call it a day after that. If you want to keep going after that, go for it. So from the £150 to £300 mark, only 51 results. So fewer sell, which you would expect at the higher price ranges, but if you're picking these up for the right money, you can do very well. So what have we got here? Now we've got one. This is a 1960s one. This is Murano glass. Let's have a look and see what. So this one is signed. Can't really read the signature, but you can see why someone would like that. It's quite an attractive piece of glass, that. So let's have a quick look, see what it says. So it says signed, and has it got any details? I don't know the ins and outs of this one, and I don't even know who signed that and how you would know. But again, now I know this is an area that I want to have a look into and spend a bit more time on. Another William Manson one. Again, really detailed flowers on this. I don't particularly like the colours, but again, there's lots of ground edges which again takes more time and skill to do, which is why it costs more. This one's come in a wooden box, and it looks like a 33, number 33 out of an edition of 50. So again, a low number, which demands a higher price. Okay, so that interlock W and M is obviously his initials. So is it William Manson? So now I know if I ever see a William Manson one, we knew we saw some around the the 75 to 150 mark, we're also seeing them over the 150 mark. So I now know that's a specific brand I'm going to dig into. So rather than just looking at paperweights, I'm going to put that on my list of dig deeper. And this is how you can become an expert in anything. Don't treat this as gospel. It just gives you a good grounding and idea of where you can take it. Another William Manson one, £199. Some, again, really pretty flowers on that. Let's have a look. And again, you've got the interlocked W&M as a signature. I now know that interlocked W&M, that is worth me, and it's also inscribed on the bottom William Manson. And it looks, is that 1 of 30 or 11 of 30? I think 11 of 30, so a really small edition. And they haven't even put that in the title. Oh, one of the things I would put in there is how stunning William Manson Autumn Bloom paperweight, and they've not spelt paperweight correctly, and it hasn't even got that it's a small edition, which baffles me. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. And that went for £199. Another Whitefriars one. And that, oh, it's to commemorate the Queen's coronation. So I can see why that might have a following. You've got not just people who like paperweights, but people who, for example, collect royal family memorabilia. Interesting. So, is there anything? Nothing on the bottom that I can see signature wise, so I don't know how you can tell that's Whitefriars. Condition, I mean the description is minimal, but that is interesting. So again, we've got another P McD glass paperweight. Peter McDougall. P McD is Peter McDougall. So now I know that's another area to look into. So we've got some interesting ones there, and these ones, there's quite a few around the 180 mark, £200. Another Paul Yassart, William Manson, Whitefriars, Peter McDougall, Deacons, not heard of Deacons before, need to look at that. Another Kate Ness one. Interesting. So we've not first Kate Ness one that we've seen at this price range. Another William Manson. Another Yassart one, another Kate Ness one. Kate Ness by William Manson again, okay. And this is another small edition, 50, and this is number 21 out of 50. Designed and made by William Manson, and that's for Kate Ness. So they obviously collaborate and work together. That's really detailed. It looks like some sort of, was it a wasp? Water lilies and dragonfly. It doesn't look like a dragonfly to me. Again, you've got some flat facets on there for viewing without distortion. You've got the signature on the bottom of both. It says Kate Ness, and you've got the W and M interlocked and the edition number. So basically, that's given me now some ideas of what I need to look at in this particular area. This is not a comprehensive, full depth investigation, but it's given me some triggers for what I need to look for when I find a paperweight out in a random car boot sale or a charity shop. It gives me an idea of whether I should pony up a big chunk of cash for it or not. There are somewhere, if it's unnamed, I might take a punt. If it's only a couple of quid, if I find something that looks attractive and it's not too expensive, if I like it, someone else will like it, and the odds are, if it's in good condition, I'll be able to ask what a reasonable amount for it. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I now know specific makers which command a slightly higher price. But I'm not done with it. I will now dig into these so I can become a damn expert in it, because I want to be the one. If I see that out there, I want to be picking up the BOLOs wherever I can. So hopefully that's given you an idea. Again, I've shown you the same process, and I'll be doing that process over the coming weeks for these. If there are any particular areas you want me to do a deep dive into, please put it in the comments, And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because that way you won't miss any of these random investigation videos that I do. I also do haul videos, what sold videos, how to fix things, how to make things better, how to get more money out of your items. I was talking about different sort of business processes that I use so I can maximize my time, the use of my time, and maximize the profits that I get for stuff in eBay. So yeah, please follow along. And I did have a note. I had a couple of my subscribers say that they didn't get a notification. So if you're a bit unsure, you may need to unsubscribe and resubscribe, and that should fix that problem. But if you've got any questions, or if you've got any areas you want to learn about that I didn't list off earlier, pop them in the comments. If you're an expert on paperweights and there's anything that I've got wrong or missed out on, please pop that in the comments as well, and we'll take a look. But thank you for joining me. If you wouldn't mind, please give this video a thumbs up if you think it's helped. And as I said, if you've got any areas that you want to look at, let me know, and I shall endeavour to stick it on the list, and we shall look at them together. So thanks very much for your time. My name's Lee. You've been watching me on Colour Flipper. I shall see you next time. Take care.